here, and today I have a video for you that has been requested by a member or subscriber of mine, and she just wanted to know a little bit more about my mental health story. So I thought, you know what, it's a reasonable request, so here it is. Here is my mental health story. So I've written down a couple of questions because I can ramble on. This is the fourth time I've tried to film this video. Point proved. So I'll try and stick to the questions as much as I possibly can. So first question, what is my diagnosis? I have borderline personality disorder, often shortened to BPD, and that includes severe bouts of anxiety and depression, and I'm also diagnosed with OCD. I have other health problems but not related to my mental health. So the symptoms of borderline personality disorder are that I cannot regulate emotions or thoughts as a normal person would. So if I'm sad, I'm really sad, and if I'm happy, I'm really happy. You know, I cannot regulate my emotions and keep them under control like a normal person. So I can be laughing hysterically 1 second, and split second later I can be sobbing my heart out thinking it's the end of the world. It's pretty much a roller coaster ride. It's like, I describe it like a clock pendulum. We swing pretty quickly from one emotion to another. It's different to bipolar in that a bipolar sufferer will spend longer periods in a depressive state and then spend longer periods in a manic state. But BPD will swing quickly between the two, and you never know what you're gonna get. Anxiety, I'm having some of the symptoms right now. Shaking, hyperventilating, sweating, crying, my knees will buckle if I'm stood up. I just want to hide. It's that fight or flight syndrome, and I generally want to flight. So yeah. Depression is not wanting to get up, not being able to sleep, not being able to get out of bed, not wanting to talk to anybody, communicate with anybody, not wanting to leave the house. I have my blinds shut in my house. I don't have any of my blinds open because I don't want the outside world looking in. I don't watch the news or read a paper because I don't want the outside world affecting my safe zone, which is my house. So if there's something going on out there in the big wide world, I won't have a clue about it unless it comes on Facebook. So yeah, depression cuts you off from the outside world, pretty much. And you just don't want to do anything. You don't want to eat. You don't want to take care of yourself. You don't want to do any of the activities that you would normally enjoy. So yeah, those are the symptoms. When was I diagnosed? Well, I've had depression on and off since I was 12. I was put into foster care when I was 12 due to family issues, and so I've had bouts of depression and counselling since I was 12 years old. But I was formally diagnosed with borderline personality disorder in 2012 when I had a full-blown mental breakdown. I was found by my eldest daughter in our kitchen on the floor, huddled into a ball, crying my eyes out, and all I could say was, I can't. I couldn't tell my daughter what was wrong. I couldn't say anything. So she ended up having to phone an ambulance, and a friend of mine who came over to sit with my children while we waited for the ambulance, and I was taken into hospital. And at the time I'd been housebound for 3 months, which is another symptom of my depression. I get housebound. I can't leave the house. And at that point I hadn't left the house for 3 months. And so they decided to put me into the mental health ward, and I was there for 2 weeks. And then obviously social services got involved, and my youngest daughter was taken and fostered. My eldest daughter came to live with her dad, or went to live with her dad, and I fought for the next 2.5 years to get my youngest daughter back, because I thought my eldest daughter was happy and settled with her dad, and she was in secondary school. I didn't want her messing about with her schooling years at the time. I got my youngest daughter back after 2 years of battling social services, but they wouldn't let her go. So they came back at me again, and we ended up in court again trying to fight for custody. They really wanted to adopt my daughter because of my mental health, and they won the second court case. So yeah, that's a big factor in my mental health nowadays, is that I no longer have my youngest daughter with me. She's been adopted. I have no contact with her personally. I get a letter once a year, letterbox contact. It's like a school report. There's nothing personal in there at all. There's no photos. I am allowed to write a letter back, but I'm not allowed to sign it "Love Mum," and I'm not allowed to be too emotional in it. I have to be matter of fact in it, which can be quite hard. You know, I'm not allowed to send her birthday cards or Christmas cards, and so birthdays and Christmas can be really difficult for me. So yeah, that's how I was diagnosed, and you know, things that have happened since. How does my mental health affect my daily life? Well, it depends, because there are certain times of the year which are triggers, which are like birthdays, Christmas, anniversaries. Like the last time I saw my daughter was the 17th of September 2014. That was the last time I saw her. That's the last time I held her in my arms. I don't want to ruin my eye makeup by crying. I'll never forget that day, so that's kind of why I've been struggling throughout the month of September. Her birthday and Christmas, obviously, and sometimes just because I miss her. I miss my daughter so much. I mean, luckily I ended up, when I moved closer to my eldest daughter, she came back to live with me. She's just recently moved out to be an adult, and she's doing really well. I'm really proud of her, but I miss her like crazy now because she's not here every day, singing and dancing in a room. So I miss her a lot, and I'm really struggling at the moment with what's my role in life now, because my children don't need me as much, and I don't know what else to be. I don't know who Nicola is at the moment, So desperately trying to find out who I am. Um, if it's a good day, my mental health doesn't really affect my day. But if my mental health is struggling, then it generally means we don't go out, we don't socialise, which my husband struggles with a little bit because he likes to be out and about. Um, because my anxiety is triggered by large crowds, I won't go shopping on a weekend because I know it can be quite busy. I struggle to go Christmas shopping. I have to pick and choose my times when I go Christmas shopping later on in the year because I can't handle the Christmas crowds. I can't go to places like concerts or like last week, I think it was, or week before, we went to bingo, and as we were coming up to the bingo hall, I realised that it was pretty crowded and it was pretty busy, and my anxiety was like, nuh-uh, nope, nope, not going in. And I'd been looking forward to that night out for so long, that I actually just went, you know what? No. Anxiety, no. You're not doing this to me. Not tonight. I've looked forward to this for a whole week and I want to go out tonight. I've got myself dressed up nice. I need to go out. But my God, my heart was racing. I felt like crying. It was literally only because my 6'5" husband is stood beside me that I managed to get in there, get sat down. I didn't move all night. Even if I needed the toilet, I didn't move. I didn't go. I got sat down in my chair and that was it. I didn't move. I didn't go anywhere. Because I couldn't. My anxiety just wouldn't let me. So yeah, it can affect socialising, going out shopping and doing things like that. I have been found. I had an anxiety attack in Tesco's once, and I ended up being found hiding inside a clothes rail because my anxiety got so much that I couldn't deal with it, so I hid. And an employee came past and he saw me and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." So he quickly called someone and they both kind of escorted me to the medical room where I was able to calm down, take some medication. Because I take diazepam when my anxiety gets too high that I can't control it. So yeah, it puts me in embarrassing situations at times. What are my triggers? So I kind of touched on this. Loud noises, large crowds, especially if the large crowd is all moving in one direction. Going to the cinema is a struggle because I have to get there early so I can get sat down before everybody else comes in. If I'm sat down and then everybody comes in, I can cope with that. But if I have to walk into a crowded room, that's not going to happen. That's no, no, no. um, God, I'm triggering my anxiety just thinking about it. And then at the end of the film, I have to wait for everybody to leave and then we can go. So with the first ones in and with the last ones out, because I just cannot cope with that crowd just moving. No, not going to happen. Going out for a meal, I have to sit where I can see the rest of the restaurant. I cannot have my back to the front door. There has been occasions where the waiter has shown us to a table and I've gone, yeah, no, I can't actually sit there. Can we sit further back? Can we sit at the back of the room? And I've had strange looks having to request that because, yeah, I need to be able to see people coming in and have a wall behind me so that nobody can come from behind. I don't know if somebody's actually going to come from behind and rah at me, but that's what's in my head. Protect your back, and see what's coming. So yeah. Um, Other triggers could be, and I don't want people to think that this is a problem they need to deal with, because it's not. It's my problem that I need to deal with. But it's seeing other families with young children having a great time. It really is. Like, recently, obviously, everyone was posting their back to school photos, proud parent moments, and that triggered me. Now, I don't want anyone to blame themselves for triggering my depression, because they've posted a back to school photo or anything. You are not to blame. Honestly, totally, please don't blame yourself. You should be posting pictures of your children. You should be proudly like, this is my kid going back to school. Doesn't they look gorgeous? You should be doing that. You really should, and I want you to continue doing that. You should be pleased about everything with your children. You should have a great family life. Have a great time with your children and put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, flash it everywhere. Make your memories and share them, because my God, it's the most important thing you'll ever do with your children, is making those memories and having them, you know, kept for all time. But yeah, seeing other families with young children, especially if they're young girls, same age or similar age to Melissa, I get very upset about that sometimes. So I have to judge whether my mental health can deal with it or not before I watch somebody's vlog or look at somebody's pictures. Because I was triggered, as I say, earlier this month, with everybody posting their back to school photos, I just kind of scrolled through them. And then once I was feeling a little bit stronger, a little bit better, then I would scroll back and have a look and, you know, be like, oh, they're so handsome, oh, they're so cute, and oh my God. But yeah, that can be a trigger as well. Because I liken it to, you know, an alcoholic. An alcoholic, when they're trying to recover, they can avoid the drinks aisle in the supermarket. They can avoid going to the pubs. They can avoid their friends that they used to drink with, you know, and that was their thing. But when your addiction is your child and you can't have your child anymore, you can't avoid children. Children are everywhere, and they should be. Of course they should be. They should be filling the world with their laughter and their smiles and their joy. Children are the best part of this world. But when you're missing your child, and I miss her every day, I see foster care adverts on TV and posters on you know, bus station walls and things like, could you offer this child a loving home, you know, a fresh start? And I'm like, not every child who's fostered or who's been adopted has come from a horrible home. My daughter was never abused. I never hurt her. I never ever like treated her badly or neglected her. I just had mental health issues. And it upsets me, and I've had to stop my husband from ripping posters off walls because he's known how much it upsets me sometimes. But I'm like, no, because you know what, social services, they do some good. They do some good. So I have no animosity towards social services at all. How do I cope with my mental health? So as I mentioned, or might have mentioned, um, I have a traffic light system. So if I'm green, I'm okay. If I'm amber, it means there's an anxiety there, but I'm coping. If I'm high amber, it means okay, let's get ready to move on from the situation because it's my anxiety is getting stronger. I've got control of it, but I'm not sure how much longer I can control it. So we need to start moving on. We need to start shifting away from the situation which is causing me anxiety. If I say red, it means get me out now, not coping. I can't do this on my own anymore. You need to help me. And that's generally when my husband will just wrap his arms around me and shift me and will go. And he's a big guy, he can barge people out of the way and not many people are going to go, oi, what you doing? He literally just woof, gets me out of there. So I have my traffic light system. If that helps you, then let your friends and family know. The traffic light system, green, you're okay. Amber, there is anxiety there, but you're coping. High amber means there's anxiety there. You're not sure how much longer you can cope, so you need to start shifting. And red means I need your help. You need to do something because I physically can't anymore. So if you want to use that system, please do. I also, sometimes when I am in amber sort of range with my anxiety, I will do my colour test. So what I will do is I have four colours. So I have blue, yellow, green and red. And what I will do to myself is I will look for something blue. Blue jacket. Something yellow, yellow sun. Green, green grass. Okay. Red, red lipstick. And if my anxiety hasn't calmed down enough by that point, I'll go back. Blue, right, something else that's blue. Okay, blue poster, yellow shoes, green hat, red jumper. And I'll keep going through the four colours, finding different things that are that colour until I can feel my anxiety starting to relax and starting to go back down to either a low amber or a green. That does help me an awful lot because it's something that you can do without people noticing. You're just kind of like moving your eyes, looking around. So it just looks like you're looking at people when actually what you're doing is you're actually finding these things. I generally say to people that by the time you've noticed that I'm not okay, I already noticed 10 minutes ago and I'm already working on calming myself down. So I say to people, if you can see that I'm struggling with my anxiety, don't say, are you okay? Because you can see I'm not okay. I know I'm not okay. And if you say to me, are you okay? Then my brain goes, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And it freaks out. So I tell people to say to me, if they can see that I'm struggling, they say to me, you're okay. It's more of a confirmation. You are okay. Rather than a, are you okay? You know? So it tricks the mind. You're okay. And the brain goes, I am, aren't I? I am. I'm okay. I'm okay. I am. I am. So, again, let your friends and family know that if they can see that your anxiety is getting high, tell them to say to you, you are okay, rather than are you okay? It does help. It's a trick of the mind. Honestly, it does help. So yeah, those are the little triggers that the coping techniques that I use. Some people use the five senses, but I can never remember them all. So that's why I don't use that one. So it's like something you can taste, something you can touch, something you can hear, something you can see, and something you can smell. So yeah, I can't remember them. But when I'm when I'm in an anxiety attack, I can't remember all of that. So, but I can remember four colours, you know, blue, red, yellow, green. I can remember that. But senses, it's just, you've got to realise that mental health affects the brain. So when therapists or people say to you, oh, look, just think happy thoughts. It's like, my brain is broken. Okay? If somebody has lost their use of their legs, you don't tell them, oh, just go for a walk, it'll be fine. Okay? So I get aggravated when people just say, just think happy thoughts and you'll be fine. I'll be like, my brain is broken, okay? And you're trying to ask me to use my brain. I can't. Same as a man who's crippled cannot go for a walk and feel better, you know? So, yeah. Does my mental health affect my relationships? Yes, a lot. As I said earlier, I have been used and abused a lot in past relationships because I thought to make them love me, I had to do anything they asked. And I got myself into some quite dangerous, risky things. Nothing illegal. But yeah, I didn't know what true love was until I met Scott, that's for sure. But it does affect our relationship even, in that sometimes my anxiety does sort of spoil Scott's sort of social life as well, because he has to stay home and look after me, so he can't go out sometimes even when he wants to. Sometimes he'll go into town on his own, because he really wants to, because he really needs to get out of the house, but a lot of the time he'll stay with me, so it can cause a bit of friction between us, especially as I'm the one that deals with a lot of the finances in the house. And if my depression is low, I'll go on a spending spree, and that then will cause friction because I haven't paid the bills like I'm supposed to. So it does cause a bit of friction that way. It's caused a lot of arguments with my daughter because I was so afraid of her abandoning me and leaving me that I kept holding on to her too tightly, and I wouldn't let her have the freedom that a teenager really wants. So it caused a lot of arguments with my daughter. I've lost a lot of friends. I don't like the saying, oh, you know who your true friends are in a crisis. I don't agree with that at all. You find out who the fake people are in a crisis, because they're the ones that are like getting involved, wanting to know what's going on, wanting the gossip, you know, wanting to know all the gruesome details. Like when I was self-harming and ending up in hospital, they were like, oh, what's happened? What's done this? What's that? Getting all the gory details, you know, finding out what's happening. But then the morning after, gone. So to me, you don't find out who your true friends are in a crisis. You find out who your true friends are after a crisis, because they're the ones that are still there. They're the ones that are checking up on you, going, Nicola, I love you, you know. So yeah, it does affect my relationships. I've lost a lot of friends. I've lost a lot of family. I don't have anything to do with my family now. The only family I have now is Scott's family, and that is it. And my children. So, where have I found help for my mental health? Okay, so Mind is a massive source of help for mental health. Mind tends to be different depending on which region you're living in. I've lived in two different areas with since being diagnosed. So I've had two different organisations from under Mind helping me. Where I was first diagnosed, where I used to live, they were more like, they would do weekly classes where you could go along, do crafting, painting, card making, anything crafty sort of wise, sewing or whatever. During the summer they would do gardening classes, so you could get out in the fresh air, do a bit of weeding in the centre's garden, and all sorts of things. And if you wanted to do a one-on-one discussion with someone from Mind, then you could, but you didn't have to. You could just turn up to these weekly classes. I found that quite helpful because it meant that I knew there was support there if I needed it. But if I didn't feel strong enough to talk about it, I didn't have to, and I liked that. Where I am now, it's more of a signpost sort of organisation. So I have a one-on-one discussion with a Mind employee or volunteer for about 6 weeks. And then this person will then signpost me as to where I can go from there. I can go on to a short course to learn about self-esteem, or learn about how to cope with anxiety and depression, or a mindfulness program, which will run for about 5 or 6 weeks. Sorry about the lighting, guys. Or they'll give me names of organisations that are in and around the area that I live in that might be able to help me, which is where I found Red Balloons. Red Balloons is run by a lady called Claire, and she struggles with mental health herself, and she found that when she would go out for a run or do some exercise, her mental health would get better. She'd feel a little bit better about herself. So she's created Red Balloons to be a case of helping people with their mental health through sporting activities. So she meets up with me once a week at the moment, and we just go for a walk. It's as simple as that. We go for a walk. We're averaging about 4.5 kilometres at a time at the moment, which is about 3 miles, I think it is. We've found a route we like, we go for a walk, and we just chat. Like, sometimes it's about mental health, sometimes it's just about kids, or husbands, whatever. So yeah, we just simply go for a walk. So even if there isn't a charity near you that does this, find a buddy that you can say, right, we're going to meet up on this day and we're just going to walk. We're just going to walk. Because honestly and truthfully, walking, it helped me so much through the worst part of my mental health. I used to go for walks all the time. Only make sure you tell people where you're going, because that was my issue. I never told people where I was going. But I do now, so. And finally, what are my plans for the future? Because I've waffled on long enough. I'm hoping to get back into work. I tried to go back to work last year, ended up having an anxiety attack in a service user's kitchen, which wasn't good. So I ended up having to quit that job. So I'm now working with another organisation that I found through the job centre, actually, who are helping to get me confident enough to go back to work. So possibly starting off with a volunteer experience, and then maybe looking at going to college, learning a new skill, possibly nail technician, because I do enjoy doing my nails. So I want to get back into work. That's what I want to do. It will give me a role in life, which is something I'm struggling with at the moment. I've also created a bucket list, and I suggest if you're struggling with your life, with anxiety or depression at the moment, a bucket list is a good way to go, because it gives you a goal, it gives you something to aim for. Now, don't pick really I want to swim with dolphins, but at this moment in time you can't afford to go away on a big holiday and there's no dolphins in the British Sea, so you're not going to be able to do it anywhere around England or Britain. So you'd have to go on a fancy holiday, say to Florida or something, and you know you can't afford that right now. Don't put that down. Put goals that you know you can easily achieve. So like for me, I want to run 5k because I did a lot of running when I was a kid. I know I enjoyed it and I would love to run again. So 5k, it's about 3-4 miles. Not a large distance, but at the moment I'm walking 4.5k. So I know I can do the distance. I just need to get my fitness level up so I can start running the distance instead of just walking it. So that's my first thing on my bucket list. Another thing on my bucket list was I wanted to learn a new skill. So I actually downloaded an app onto my phone called Duolingo. I will note it for you down below if you're interested. And it's teaching me Spanish. So Duolingo is like a language learner app. And it's real good fun, actually. It's great for kids. Apparently my daughter used it in school with her French classes. And basically it teaches you a language, any language. There's lots of different ones you can choose. I went with Spanish because we're likely to go back to Spain for another holiday and I'd really like to be able to communicate a little bit. So yeah, I've started learning Spanish. So buenos dias. Donde está el baño? That's the one I've really stuck in my head. Where is the bathroom? I need that one. And then other things are just like I want to travel more, and I want to write a story. So I know that my local mind sometimes has mental health, people with mental health writing their stories for their website and publishing them so that other people can read their experiences. So I know that by saying I want to write a story, I know I can write my story for Mind and get it published on their website. So that's something else I want to do. So yeah, make a bucket list. It really will help you, because the thing about depression is it tells you there's no future. It tells you that there's no point in going on. So if you make a bucket list and it's an achievable bucket list, then you're basically telling your depression, up yours. I do have a future. I have a great future, and I might struggle through it. I might fall down every now and again. I'm not always going to beat this, but I'm going to keep fighting, because I hold on to the fact that one day my daughter isn't going to be a child anymore. She's going to be a grown-up, and then no one can stop her from coming to find me again. And once she reaches 18, I'm allowed to find her. So if she hasn't found me before then, I'm definitely, the day she turns 18, I'm going to be on that phone trying to find my daughter. And when she comes back into my life and I hold her in my arms again, I want to say, look what I've done. Look who I am now. I am not the destroyed and depressed and broken person that you left all those years ago. I'm stronger, I'm better, I'm fighting. I want my daughter to be proud of me. And so I fight every day to do exactly that. So find your reason to fight. Make goals, achievable goals, and just keep fighting. Do not let depression win, because you are loved. You are. you're cared about. And even if you look around you and you think there isn't anyone, I was there once. I was knocking at death's door once. But one night I saw a post on Facebook, a guy feeling very lonely, struggling with his mental health. And at first I scrolled past and I didn't answer him. But 5 or 10 minutes later, when I scrolled back through and I saw nobody else had spoken to him, and I thought, well, I know what loneliness is like and I don't want anyone else to feel that. So I reached out and I spoke to him. We got chatting, and 3 years later, I'm his wife. So you never know. You never know what's around the corner. My husband saved me. I am here because of my husband. And I love him so much because of it. He saved my life. And someone out there will save yours too. You just have to find that person. So, I know this has been quite rambly, despite the fact I really tried not to. But I hope you did like this video. I hope it has helped you in a little bit. Even if just some of the tips I've given you help you out. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you like, comment and subscribe as always. I love interacting with you all, and I hope you'll join me for the next video, which will be a bit more lighthearted, we hope. Alright then, see you soon. Bye.